Welcome back. We're just here to wrap up the story. While we're looking for messages, Amaka, you had the final comment?
Yes, I said so. I think the pressure is not even, I don't blame the schools. I blame the parents because if you sit down as a union or a body, you know, what they call them in schools, the PTA, and say we're not going to do something, we're not going to do that. Because sometime this year when I traveled, I was with a friend and her friend, and all I was hearing was Stanley. And I said, please, who is this guy, Stanley, who are talking about?
Is it Stanley Cup?
So they then said, you don't know Stanley Cup? I said, what is it? Who is the Stanley that I have to do? Stanley know me. They now said, you don't know Stanley. Everybody, if you're a big person, I said, I said, the cup will define me. Do you know the amount of cups I have in my house? I picked up my phone, I called my sister, I said, you have children, no? I beg, which one is Stanley Cup? She laughed. She said, Amaka, Stanley Cup has there for like 2 years. She said, but her kids don't carry it, and the schools, they banned it and everything. I said, there's a particular cup that is Stanley Cup. I said, I beg, the cup should raise, is there Amaka Cup? See, the problem is you parents.
Yes,
the problem is not the school. So you parents, sit down. You need to understand your values as a parent when you're coming from and prioritize them.
Yeah, amazing.
So Amaka is correct. One of our YouTubers says it's his inferiority complex and would like to copy everything that Oyibo people do. It's simple summary of what you've just said. Can we define what we know? The system of education that we use in Nigeria is after our colonial masters, but the form of graduation we do is very Americanized. You know, they used to have
changed in
everything.
Private schools.
I don't know. I don't think we do all of those schools. I think our government is also failing us. We cannot have a clash of culture like that. When we travel for training, the primary school in front of my hotel, every morning the children will go. I didn't know it was because it was compulsory education. They say it's even criminal for a parent to decide that their children will not go to school. When I investigated and said, okay, so you don't have private school. They say they do. Same curriculum, same standard. It's you that want to pay for private. So what you can just determine is maybe flexibility of your child's course time. But that child must write common entrance when it is due. The child must go. Secondary education is compulsory. And they say there are certain towns where there are minorities, where it is even compulsory for university education. So it's trying to balance it.
But they are not in democracy.
So, no, they are not.
Argue this.
But we now have a very good system of education. We choose our we do all of that, and we refuse to regulate the school. You know, for 6334. We choose to regulate the school standards. See what our private schools have done, our public schools too. We are even suffering it now in university education because of lack of proper institutions. You are the Ministry of Education, you are the UBEC, you are the SUBEB, you are the whatever. Do the thing that you need to do. I like that they have TESCOM standards. They've standardized teaching. So you must have the certain qualification and paperwork that you need to have. But can you ensure that the school and the businessmen do not use capitalism to retch, because all this billing, all these things, it goes to the psychology of the child.
They are not retching, it's what we are choosing. So what I realized is many of us hang our hand where our leg cannot reach. That's the problem. And like you rightly said, inferiority complex. Why do I want to put my child in a school that I know my salary ordinarily cannot even afford? I cannot afford it, but because Amaka's child is in that school, I have to show that I have to go. Now, many of the public schools are actually not near many people's houses because the truth of the matter is I've spoken to people who their children are at the age where they're getting into secondary school and they can't find public schools that are have good quality that are close by. So they end up with some of these private schools, and then the private people are now bringing, we are doing this curriculum, we're bringing that, and that is how we do it. But that's where the PTA comes in. We sit down and say, this is not working for us, we cannot afford this. What are we teaching our children when we have to go above and beyond to just give them things that are irrelevant, like they will rightly forget after many years? But let me
I won't lie, we're all struggling with, like me, I always struggle with this parenting, because sometimes, you know, you want to, because exactly, I'm struggling with it, because sometimes you will want to deny your child that thing. Then at some point when you look at it, you find out that everybody, you know, has set everybody, they are doing the same thing. You know, you won't send, but you just find out that your child will just be, you know, alone. They will be withdrawn. They will not be confident. They won't be confident. They will outgrow it.
No, they will.
Those ones that wait, Nima, let me tell you, because those ones that are doing it, they are moving forward. Though. They are not waiting for
your child stall. Your own child is she stunting?
She's not.
Let me tell you something funny. This semester now, they already have their plans for camp, and my daughter is saying, "Mommy, please pick me up on the last day of exam." This has been a tradition since she did nursery school. She's now looking forward to home. You stay to what works for you. Me, Nima, if school close at 2, if it's possible, I close at 1:30.
No, but for graduation and all of that is different.
I have
for graduation ceremony and all of that is different because everybody's going to look in a certain way.
No.
Just like what BC did now. BC said that you are going to have a certain kind of makeup. You can't have full makeup. That is the only regulation she can offer. But she won't tell her not to have makeup at all.
No,
do you understand what I mean?
Hold on, I can. If they had said maybe just S3 that they had to do this and they were doing makeup, nothing like that. She did her 16-year birthday without makeup. Yeah, she did a full photo shoot without makeup.
But she told you that when she was going to
I understand what prom is. I understand what prom is.
She's negotiating
an age where at 16 I was already doing makeup as a young girl, right? So it wasn't so out of place for her to now start doing makeup. So she waited till she got to that point, and he now launched with the prom. So that was allowing. If imagine she was 13. Let's take, for instance, she's a junior and she's graduating at 13, and every other person is wearing makeup. I will not give her
But
makeup.
when we're 16,
you have not reached
when we're 16 years old, did you do makeup for your graduation?
No, we didn't graduate.
My first you don't put only lip gloss. Is that
my
and this thing? That's
all. You have to go.
And what about the money for the makeup?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I paid for makeup now because I was not allowed to do the proper face beat.
I didn't pay for makeup.
People want to see. Send me a DM. I'll send you that
socks.
Please help us. Okay, so we have a program that will be bringing live. TVC will be bringing live coverage of former President Buhari's burial, which will be starting from 12 p.m. So stay tuned. TVC will be airing that. And thank you so much, ladies. You people are very chaotic. And troublesome.
No, this was a parenting matter.
Yes, it was. And it touched us. That's all we can take on the show today. I hope you've learned one or two things. We are the parents. We have a right to decide based on our values what is right for our children. Let's have these conversations with the schools. Let them know what is obtainable and what isn't. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye now.